Plum Loco, Great Adventure, Instigator, Shipwreck Shirts, and Turbine Express. Now, in the Offshore Modified Pro Stock and Sport, they'll all be going 6 laps for a total of 80 miles. In the Super Stock S class, 5 laps. In a little while, we'll be airborne to bring you the pace lap of the Runaway Island Offshore Classic right here in Panama City Beach, Florida. As you can see now, we're airborne over Passport Marina here at the Runaway Island Offshore Classic. We're waiting for the pace lap. The pace lap is a good time for spectators to get a real good vantage point, close-up view. Those boats, they go by in groups. Okay, there's Shipwreck Shirts coming into our picture. Shipwreck Shirts is a 30-foot Eurosport with a red Holland deck with 2 550 horsepower Mercury inboards with mercury outdrive. All on board are local. Owner-driver A.L. Kirkman, throttle man David Steele, and navigator David Webb. Shipwreck Shirts, sponsored mainly by Shipwreck Shirts and Panama Jack. There's Rolling Thunder. Rolling Thunder today is being navigated by the United States Offshore Racing Association President, Gary Pearson. And on the outside is Instigator, which is carrying our inboard video camera. Now we see Turbine Express on the pace lap. Turbine Express, by the way, is being navigated by Bill Novick of the Racer's Edge. Turbine Express being powered by 2 1,100 horsepower turbine engines. That's a lot of power. Sponsors, Marine Turbine Technology. The crew, well, they're Ted McIntyre, who is the owner and driver in the shop in Indiana. At the throttle, Jason Ward, also from the start, and navigator Bill Novick. The Racer's Edge, as just mentioned, from Land Channel, Florida. Mercury Drive. In the boat there, owner and driver Bill Gazelle, Ronald, Doug Lewis, navigating Bill's brother Warren Gazelle. Everyone there is from Brick, New Jersey. Well, as you can see, it's an overcast day with Panama City Beach in the background. For this Runaway Island Offshore Classic, which, by the way, is the first U.S. Offshore Racing Association race of 1993. Now, on board the pace boats, first off, the one closest to us, which is a 37-foot Baja with 2 big blocks in it, are Dr. Michael Smith, who's a chiropractor from Panama City Beach. His wife, Dr. Sylvia Thomas Smith, is also along for the ride, as are Dr. Michael Reed and Dr. Mura Reed. Also, U.S. official Alan Cohen and race director Mark Brooks. Now, the black boat on the outside is a fountain. That's piloted by Dave Swigler. All in all, a great day for a race. Even though the sun is not out, the waters are cooperating, and it looks like we're going to be on time for the race, which will start very shortly. There's Royal Flush, a 27-foot Excalibur with a blue hull and white deck, powered by a 550 horsepower Chevy engine with Mercruiser outdrives. Royal Flush is owned by Jack G. Paul of Vernon, Florida. Driver is Brian Sterrett from Panama City, Florida. At the throttle, Jack G. Paul from Vernon, Florida. That's Royal Flush. Back on the fountain pace boat is Dave Swigler and Bruce McCormick, and they're leading the rest of the boats back to the milling area as we prepare for the beginning of this Runaway Island Offshore Classic, the very first race for the 1993 season for the U.S. Offshore Racing Association. Now, besides the pace boat and, of course, the racing officials, I understand that there are over 200 volunteers who lended their time. And, of course, there are tons of support to make sure that this race went off smoothly. And so far, things are going, well, just terrific in this Runaway Island Offshore Classic here in Panama City Beach, Florida. Here's a group of boats coming into your picture. On the far outside is Plum Loco, followed by Royal Flush. Then there's Shipwreck Shirts. And on the far inside, Turbine Express. Great Adventure on the far outside. And of course, they're all heading towards the milling area, where they will begin the race in just a little while. There's a brand new 28-foot skater, Extreme DeSantis Chevy, being driven by Dan DeSantis and throttled by Mark Hilsinger. And this is their very, very first race with this boat. We wish the entire crew of Extreme DeSantis Chevy the very best of luck in this race, as well as all the other races during this 1993 season. The DeSantis Chevy Racing Team. There's Instigator with a freeze-frame video onboard camera. Plum Loco coming into the picture, heading for the milling area. BFI Systems. Beach Bull Island 106 race. And Rolling Thunder with Gary Pearson navigating. Gary, of course, is the U.S. Offshore Racing Association president. And there's the yellow smoke, signaling that in just a few minutes will be the beginning of the Runaway Island Offshore Classic, the very first U.S. Offshore Racing Association race for 1993. Now, as we cover the starts, we'll cover the first start, which includes the D class, B, and C class. Now, as the boats begin to move out of the milling area, heading towards the beginning of the race, we see Beach Bull and BFI Systems. Rolling Thunder, Shipwreck Shirts, Instigator, as the boats begin, we see Rolling Thunder, Shipwreck Shirts, Instigator. There's Beach Bull. Rolling Thunder coming into the picture. Shipwreck Shirts, Instigator, getting ready, and we have the green flag. The 1993 Runaway Island Offshore Classic has begun. And there is Rolling Thunder going to the immediate lead, leading the pack now as we look at the field. There is Shipwreck Shirts and Beach Bull alongside. There's Instigator, a 32-foot active, owner and throttle man Peter Meyer, Fort Washington, New York. Driver is John Domino of Babylon, and navigating Rusty Dayton, also of Fort Washington. A sponsor of Instigator is N&J Plumbing from Fort Washington, New York. Now there's Beach Bull making its way through the pack. Alongside on the outside is BFI Systems, and they're having a little competition. They're going neck and neck, and it looks like that BFI Systems has the edge. And it seems that Rolling Thunder on the far outside is maintaining its lead, and there is Instigator. And very shortly, we're going to go on board the Instigator. There we are. You're looking at our crew eye view camera shot with our freeze frame video camera, but actually it's yesterday's shot because, as you can see, it's sunny. What happened was our camera got a little drenched, so unfortunately we can only show you yesterday's picture. Also, the Instigator crew would like to thank the Montauk Yacht Club, Tom Cahorsi and Guy LaMotta of the Manhasset Bay Marina as well. Freeze Frame Video would like to thank the Instigator crew for helping to bring our video equipment to this race. Thank you very much. And there's the Instigator, closer to the camera, and of course on the far outside, Rolling Thunder maintaining its lead. Best of luck to the Instigator team as well as Rolling Thunder. Currently we're on the Beach Bull race team. It's a 32-foot Conquest powered by three 2.4 Mercury EFI outboards. There's Rolling Thunder and BFI Systems on the outside. Now, the owner of Beach Bull is Robert Baker. He's from Marysville, Michigan. Driver today is Tim Baker from Lakeport, Michigan. At the throttle, Jim Baker from Port Huron, Michigan. Now, the Bakers would like to dedicate this race to their best friend, Barry DeLand, who passed away recently, promoting this event. They ask that you help perhaps to sponsor United Cerebral Palsy, a very good cause. Once again, you're looking at Beach Bull Pirate Radio. Beach Bowl is sponsored by the Beach Bowl newspaper, a local paper around town, and also Pirate Radio 97.7. We're coming on Rolling Thunder now as we look at the screen. Rolling Thunder is a 33-foot Baja Cat, yellow hull and yellow deck. And as we pass Rolling Thunder, we're coming up on BFI Systems, which is currently #1 overall in this race, in this Runaway Island Offshore Classic in Panama City Beach, Florida. BFI Systems is a 39-foot Velocity thoroughbred with a white and blue hull and deck, with two 750 horsepower Chevy motors and Mercury drives. The owner-driver of BFI Systems, Ronald Greenwood of Tyngsboro, Massachusetts. At the throttle, Ed Binkowski of Coconut Creek, Florida. Navigating, Robert Riley of East Bridgewater, Massachusetts. You're looking at BFI Systems, #1 overall in this Runaway Island Offshore Classic. As we watch BFI Systems going around its first turn, we see many spectators enjoying the race today. It's a 7-mile course along the beach, so many different vantage points that spectators have of this great race today. Now, as we leave the BFI Systems race team, we wish them the best of luck in the 1993 United States offshore racing season. BFI Systems. As we leave BFI Systems, we're going to be coming on to Instigator in just a little while. Instigator is a 32-foot active with a white deck and two 600 horsepower Chevy inboards with Merc Cruiser outdrives. Rolling Thunder is on the outside of Instigator. Instigator, owner, throttle man Peter Meyer of Port Washington, New York. Driving Instigator, John Domino of Babylon, New York. Navigating, Rusty Dayton of Port Washington. Now, the crew of Instigator would like to thank its sponsors, N&J Plumbing from Port Washington, New York, and the Montauk Yacht Club. Also, Tom Cahorsi and Guy LaMotta from the Manhasset Bay Marine. You're looking at Instigator, #1 in its class. We're going on board Instigator now with our onboard freeze frame video camera. You're getting a nice view of the race from the driver's point of view. Camera seems to be working very nicely. Nice smooth ride. Instigator owner and throttle man Peter Meyer is a 10-year veteran of offshore competition who earned his reputation while at the helm of the famed Lady L, one of the most durable and successful rigs in the history of the sport. He won a world championship with Lady L in 1989 and won the Mike Papa Memorial Award last year at Sarasota for setting a new speed record. Instigator race team. running first in his class. All seems to be going pretty smoothly, and as we see outside and Beach Bull on the far outside. All seem to be holding their course pretty well at this point. And as we look at Instigator, there's the navigator pointing in the direction of the race for the rest of the crew. There's Rolling Thunder, 33-foot Baja Cat, currently running first in its class and first overall. Rolling Thunder is owned by Arnold D'Ambrosia, Point Pleasant, New Jersey. And he also happens to be the driver. Arnold has been racing on and off for 25 years or so. He is the owner and operator of Arnold's Yacht Basin in Point Pleasant, New Jersey, and he is the 1992 World Champion. Rolling Thunder is powered by two 520 horsepower engines and Mercruiser outdrives. Also on board, throttleman David D'Ambrosia of Point Pleasant, New Jersey, and navigating is Gary Pearson, who is the president of the U.S. Offshore Racing Association. The Rolling Thunder Racing Team, currently running number 1 in its class and number 1 overall. As we look at the Rolling Thunder race team making its way past the beautiful beaches of Panama City Beach, Florida, we see that David D'Ambrosia is doing a good job at throttle, and Gary Pearson, excellent job navigating the crew. Arnold D'Ambrosia, who is the driver, by the way, is also a board member of U.S. Offshore. You're looking at the Rolling Thunder Racing Team. Okay, we're coming up to Beach Bull. Beach Bull is a 32-foot Conquest powered by three 2.4 Mercury EFI outboards. The owner of the boat is Robert Baker from Marysville, Michigan. The driver today is Tim Baker from Lakeport, Michigan. At the throttle, Jim Baker from Port Huron, Michigan. Now, Beach Bull is sponsored by the Beach Bull newspaper, which is a local newspaper around town here, Panama Beach City. And Beach Bull was founded back in July of 1990, and most people at the time referred to it as the worst newspaper in America. The owners said they couldn't even give it away free, so they started charging for it. Well, that seemed to work, and now Beach Bull is quite a success story. Beach Bull also has a sister publication called National Bull. Now, National Bull is apparently outselling, according to a 285-store convenience chain in the Southeast survey. It's outselling TV Guide and National Enquirer by at least a 3-to-1 margin. Well, apparently the owners also say that the publication is 100% off-the-wall BS, lies, jokes, gossip, and slander. Well, the Beach Bull race team is certainly no joke today, as they are currently number 1 in their class. That's the Beach Bull Racing Team. Some of the other Beach Bull sponsors include Pirate 97.7, Dakotas of Panama, a very popular hotel in the area, and restaurants. Once again, the Beach Bull Racing Team is number 1 in its class. The Beach Bull Racing Team. There's Turbine Express, a 39-foot express catamaran. Now, Turbine Express is sponsored by Marine Turbine Technologies. It has a white hull and a white deck. Now, Marine Turbine Technologies is a supplier of custom-powered turbine boats. The company has built more non-military powered turbine boats than anyone else in the world. Now, as we look at Turbine Express, there's BFI Systems on the outside. BFI Systems is currently running first in its class. BFI Systems. Okay, aboard Turbine Express, we have throttleman Jason Ward from Broussard, Louisiana, and navigator Captain Bill Novick of Lantana, Florida. The owner of Turbine Express is Joe Grabowski of Broussard, Louisiana. Now, the owner of Marine Technologies, Ted McIntyre, says that the possibility of being able to run turbines in offshore is, well, pretty exciting to the company. Matter of fact, they've competed in endurance-type events such as the Mississippi River Race. And he also